Have you ever heard of digital homicide? If you watch Jim Sterling, you probably did. Jim once described BMC Studio as followers of a digital homicide. I think that couldn't be further from the truth. First, they didn't try to sue someone because of a review. They didn't shut someone down because they criticized the games, and everything I heard so far from the people that worked with Alain Lagacé makes the guy look like a pretty nice guy. With that said, I'm going to judge these games from my perspective of what a game should look like. Therefore, I'm going to front load the criticism of all BMC Studio games. First, all BMC Studio games crashed at me once. Why? I don't know, but they did. The thing is that I'm not really sure if that was intended or not. You will see why I said that later. Second, menu. For people that are watching me for the first time, games menu is a personal pet peeve of mine. The minimum I expect is the play button, an options button, and a quit button. In the options menu, I expect sound options with individual sound options for at least voice volume, if there's voice acting, music volume, and effects volume. Full screen, window mode, and borderless window mode are a must, and so is the resolution option. Resolution has two meanings here. One is just the size of the window, and the other one is the extra amount of pixels that the game is showing. It depends on the game, but when I say resolution, I always mean window size. Every single BMC Studio game is missing those. There's always a play button and a bonus button and sometimes a full screen button, but my beloved options are nowhere to be found. So yeah, that stinks. Thirdly, except for Jakku and Real Life Battle Royale, the English is pretty bad, and so is the delivery. I'm not going to judge anyone, but if I notice that you're doing something wrong, then it's bad. My delivery is not the best. If your game is worse than mine, yeah, then it's just bad. Does it hurt the games at all? Kind of, sometimes, but in general terms, it doesn't, because that's not what the games are about, I think. I will not talk about those things anymore. Pretty much every BMC studio can be criticized for those three things. I will not mention those points anymore. So let's move on to the first game, Kimulator, Fight for Your Destiny. It is the Game Guru first-person shooter with cheesy IRL cutscenes that follow the wacky adventures of Vincent, the French-Canadian, and our Lord Jesus Christ. But we all know that Melitelli is the only true god, but who cares? Graphics is the last thing we talk about on this channel. I really don't care about bad looking graphics. I think as long as it fits the game, I'm okay with it. I'm actually not really bothered by the graphics here. But it's bad. Sure. Do I care? Not really. Most enemies are in a T-pose until you get close to them. Enemies' heads are sometimes just not there. Enemy heads are sometimes reversed. Here's the funny thing. I don't know if that's intended or not. I got a chuckle, but it's not something I would call good. The story is forgettable, but the big G is the best part of the game. Don't at me. There are also a bunch of bonus modes like shooting creepy eggs that have no death animation and creep me the fuck out. A side campaign considering only the Game Guru shooter gameplay, and a platformer with 2 levels. Compared to the main campaign, those bonus levels felt like work for me. I didn't have fun with them, and I wouldn't recommend them. Not my thing. The main campaign was cheeky and short. All the bonus stuff was meh. Next game. Zombitatos, the end of the PC Master Race, and Zombitatos Ultimate Game of the Year edition, which I'm not sure that's legal to call you Game of the Year if you didn't win the Game of the Year. But fine, I won't get into legal shit here, so let's move on. They're both the same game with the slight difference that one can be played in full screen and the other can't. And the Game of the Year edition has a bonus mode. Zombitatos, I think, embraces the menu status for the first time. It drops the FPS part completely and goes for choose your own adventure game. I think this game has the most amount of actual choices and game overs. Again, I had to chuckle here and there, especially at the don't... wait, I can't say this word. Joke. BMC veterans will get it, I'm sure. Wink. Wink. You can see that, but I'm winking right now. I'm winking at you right now. So doesn't matter, let's move on. There are a few things you can discover, like a game on your laptop, a feature that I never saw in any other BMC Studio game ever again. In general, this game is a perfect representation of what BMC aspires to be and is actually. That's all. And that's it. That's basically it. So let's move on to the next game. There is a genie in my Szechuan sauce. This game is shorter than the other BMC Studio games combined, with a tighter script and a vastly better quality. It has a few branching options, but no fate state. And even though the script is tighter, it doesn't mean it's better. Since there is no mission or goal, all that counts is the way. You like that? I implement like something that comes to in the next. Let's move on to the next game. Aidsmoji, the Forbidden Fruit. Long and unfocused, and at the same time absurd. In comparison to the last game, I would say there is a little bit, not a little bit, there is a quality drop, definitely. There's a really long cutscene in the middle of the game with nothing to do, and it kind of pissed me off. I think I almost fell asleep because it was just so unfocused. There's a bunch of references to memes here, but the only thing I could think about was, why isn't this a YouTube video? And if your game gives me that vibe, then there's something wrong. Disappointing in comparison to the last game, which improved in quality actually. And now, my fellow humans, it's time to dab on them haters. You couldn't see me dab. Oh, Dabman, when the haters dab back. Vincent, the French Canadian, not actually called Vincent in this game, what a shame, is back as the protagonist, and he is a great Dabman. Other than that, the game is between Genie and Aidsmoji. It doesn't do anything new, but it has some high points, like the teleport dab, which I enjoyed. It was a pretty good joke, meme. I don't know what it is. Okay. Dabwoman, when the dab isn't sexist, is the sequel to Dabman, and with that BMC Studio is already more progressive with the franchise than Marvel and DC combined. It's okay. Hater Boy is now a hottie because he died in the last game. This is a spoiler, but nobody should care. I like him. I would like to see more of him in other projects. Vincent seems to be out of his element. He's the Dabman, by the way. Didn't like his performance at all. Homo Boy and the anti-homo shield was a funny yoke, but I was expecting a payoff that never really came. That's it. So let's move on. Sexy comedy. It was a mistake. That's the actual title of the video game. I'm not saying it's a mistake. That's the actual title of the whatever. It is pretty much an ASDF movie with choices. Really didn't like it. I would prefer this to be a YouTube video. Pretty much like I would prefer Aidsmoji to be a absurdist YouTube video. Dabman, Dabtastic Bundle is just Dabman 1 and 2. I already talked about those. The Jacuzzi. Highest production level, but like sexy comedy, I was thinking to myself, why is this not a YouTube video? That's pretty much it. It's pretty good. I mean, that a few jokes here and there. Alain actually makes a guest appearance, so talking French and all this good shit. I like this part of the whole Jakku game. That was the part that I liked. Yeah, you can see my investment. Yeah, whatever. Finally, real life battle royale. It's gonna be an epic game. I think this one comes the closest to the absurdist comedy commentary thingy that BMC is trying to get to. In comparison to Jakku's, it dropped in quality, but it's still moving forward. I think BMC is slowly turning into something I could accept as an established game studio. Those games clearly need work, especially on the technical side, and I think an improvement in quality wouldn't hurt the meme nature of those games. Full motion video games are very much something I stand behind, and even though I can see that the dev and the community around him want to do something that is enjoyable to them, I still would like to have a more polished product. Normally, I would have a section here in which I describe why I recommend games or not, but I'm going to do something different here. I will not recommend anything, but I'm going to highlight some comments I got from the BMC community, because I think only they can truly say what they like about BMC and what they like about those games. Caffeine Meme writes, it's because they sort of deviate from the real norms of what a video game on Steam is. And even if it's not good, you can feel the conscious effort that they are trying to improve and test things out to see what fits even if it doesn't work. Along with this, he treats the people he works with actual care and like they are human beings, at least from my experience. He feels more human, natural, and fun whenever he is producing something. And I feel that gives him a nice edge. Invasion of the Dogs writes, it's the best because of the satire and the fun that goes into making every game. What makes BMC stand out is that no other game has creators that love making games more than Bmc Studio. I would disagree, but here you can see how invested those people are in the games themselves and in the creator as well. Tofu the Survivor writes, a BMC studio, unlike AAA companies, does not force cram time or assault their employees. Yeah, I heard a lot of things about Alain, and nothing of that was bad. Everyone that works with him pretty much said he's a pretty nice guy. Finally, Galaxy Goober writes, he is so kind and patient when he works with him. And I think for everything I've heard so far from Alain, he's pretty much what those people tell. The interview was very nice too, so yeah, I can only agree with that. So, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Matthew Murphy, but I go on the internet as Undead Unicorn, which has an origin story lost to time. I've had it for about a decade. And on the BMC Studio Discord server, I go by Sheriff Unicorn because I am a cop on that. That's my role as cop, aka moderator. I'm the moderator there. One of the moderators.
Yeah. And you were involved in Unfriended, Sexy Comedy, and the other one was Aidsmoji, right? Tell us a little bit about...
Unsubscribed, not unfriended.
Unfriended. Unsubscribed, yeah.
Unsubscribed is a parody of Unfriended.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like yes, Unfriended is a parody of another thing. Well, but you work with those games, and tell us a little bit about the experience and the game's production.
So basically, to really get into the meat of it, you have to start from the beginning. So about 2.5, 3 years ago, somewhere around that time, I'd bought something using Steam Wallet money, and I had a few funds left. So I thought, I'll just buy something random, cheap from the Steam store. And that's when I see what I originally saw was Zombitatos End of the PC Master Race. I was like, this looks like a bit of a hoot. So I bought it. And I still had some money left, so I also bought Kimulator. But the first BMC game I played was Zombitatos. And to be honest, I found it really great. I found it hilarious. And I saw in the announcements that they had a Discord server that had opened up a couple of days before I'd bought the game, so I was like, oh, I might as well head over, chill out, say hi, and all that. And so I joined, and I just sort of hung out with the early BMCers or something, I guess, whatever, and BMC himself, and we all just became pretty good friends. And there was a point in time where there was a voice call, and I joined, and obviously I spoke because it was a voice call, and BMC pointed out apparently I have a really nice voice, and I should do voice acting. So I was, I was complimented, and then what happened was that he was making a game called Aidsmoji, the Forbidden Fruit.
Yeah.
The title hadn't been decided yet, but that's what it came to be. And he couldn't think of how it would end. He couldn't think of an ending, so I wrote up a little ending, and he really liked it, and he included it into the game.
Okay.
And then later down the line, there comes sexy comedy. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. Joking. I love it. And he remembered. He really liked my voice, so he asked for volunteers for voice work, and I instantly said, "Oh, hey, what about me? I'd love to do some voice work because I love acting. I really love acting. Not even just voice acting, but acting in general."
Yeah.
So he sent me a script. I read it out. He loved it, and he put it in the game. And that was sexy comedy. It was a mistake. And then in Unsubscribed, I play the role of Steve, the main character, and in that you actually see my face, but I put on a really poor accent, which I'm not happy with. I don't think I should have done an accent, but I did, and I have to live to regret that now. But anyway, the rest is history, really.
Yeah, as an artist, there's always doubt in your performance. And I think doubt is one of the strongest things you can have. If you don't doubt what you're doing something wrong. At least that's what I think. Well, I've been asking people, as you know, what they like about the games, what they like about BMC in general. So just tell me, what do you like about this community, about the games, about BMC themselves, Alain himself? Just tell us in general your thoughts and feelings.
It's just everything about the games and the person Alain as well is very wholesome. He's a brilliant person, by the way. A great friend, great person, very wholesome. And the games themselves, because the story of BMC Studio is the first couple of games, Kimulator and Zombitatos, they were school projects. He never expected it to become anything big. Like, he just put them on Steam for the meme, basically. They were just school projects. So, yeah, he released the games on Steam. He didn't expect anything to come off them. Like I said, they were literally just a school project.
Yeah.
But then they started gathering a following. And, he didn't expect this to happen. He didn't plan to become a big a big game, well, not big, but you know what I mean, like a games developer, like professionally. And there's just something about the story, but also the games themselves are imbued with like a certain level of, sort of flawed perfection is the best way to describe them, because there's something really, I know I keep using the word wholesome, but that's what it is.
There's a charm. There's definitely a charm to those games.
Very charming. And that's the appeal to me is, not necessarily it's a so bad it's good deal, but it's in that territory for sure. But in a more nicer, pleasant way.
So yesterday we had actually the same conversation, but I fucked it up, and so you told me a little story about the name. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. So a lot of people wonder why BMC is in lowercase, and a lot of people actually still put it in capitals. They assume it's just a typo or something, but it is supposed to be in lowercase. And I think the story behind this is the perfect characterization of Alain as a person, because really early on when I first joined, I was asking why it's not BMC like most companies. If it's an initial, it stands for something. I can't remember what it stands for. It's something in French,
something plugin in English.
And basically, I asked why aren't they in capitals, and he said he thought that it would be too aggressive. He felt like all capitals feel too aggressive, and I think that is the perfect characterization of Alain, because it's just it's really sweet and charming, that mindset.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really it's really cool, I think, actually.
Yeah. I heard only good things about him. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing this again. And yeah,
That's no worries.
if you wish to buy those games, I highlighted the games in the description. I can't really recommend those games. They are not good. They embrace the "it's so bad, it's good" side of entertainment, which I don't get behind. I don't like this way of thinking. You can get some fun out of those games, but it would be dishonest from my side to recommend this to anyone. Devs are always welcome to my show. And so I got in touch with Alain Lagacé and enjoyed the interview. I would ask you to introduce yourself and the man behind the meme games. Tell us who you are, what you do for a living, and what BMC Studio is actually does.
Well, I'm Alain Lagacé. I'm from Canada. Since 2015, I've been doing meme games on. Well, they're not really that many, but I've been doing FMV games on Steam. That's pretty much my life. Wow.
Good. One question I had to ask, because I saw this on Twitter a while ago. You twittered something like, "Here's the whole thing, the whole budget for the whole game." How much does a game cost to make for you? Because you have to get props and you have to pay, for example, voice talent and so on. So how much does it generally cost to make a game?
It really depends of the game. Like shitty games like the first Kimulator cost maybe like $50 to make.
Mm-hmm.
Then Zombitatos cost literally nothing. And like after that, the game started to cost a lot more. Like the Kimulator 2 is the biggest project I had,
Mm-hmm.
and it cost maybe like 300 or something to make.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't play Kimulator 2, but that's weird because it wasn't in the bundle. However, I would ask you.
It wasn't in the bundle.
It wasn't in the bundle, I think. At least I didn't play it. I didn't have it on my Steam
Well,
library.
it should be in the bundle, but
maybe I forgot it. Maybe I just didn't look it up. No, it was not in the bundle. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it's blocked in Germany.
Oh yeah, it's blocked in Germany because of the Nazi thing.
Ah, what a shame. So yeah, okay. Sorry, couldn't play that. I would ask you to describe your games. Like, if they, I think they changed a little bit, but I think they all follow the same rules. So how would you describe your games?
Well, it's mostly interactive videos, like the old FMV games on the Sega CD or the Panasonic video.
Mm-hmm. And I can remember, it's years ago that Jim Sterling covered Kimulator. He played it and said, "Oh, it's horrible." Did that drive people towards the games, basically defeating his point that games like you make shouldn't be on Steam and have basically no point in existing?
Well, I mean, just look at my Discord and there's like I think 500 people there that actually like me or ironically like me. So not nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like people actually enjoy my game even if they hate it, they enjoy it in a way.
Yeah. Like I would describe like The Room, The Room, when people saw it's a horrible game, it's so bad it's good again. Something like that.
Yeah, and sometimes my games are like too bad and I don't know it. Like Aidsmoji is actually awful.
Yes.
But like I feel like people actually enjoy my games, and the more I make it, the more people kind of like it. And the Jakuz is actually a game that people really like.
Yeah, Jakuz.
Not ironically.
Jakuz and real life battle royale, I would say they're going in the right direction. And tangentially to the whole Jim Sterling thing, the whole digital homicide thing happened. So digital homicide versus Jim Sterling. I have two questions here. First of all, what you think about that, and the second one. I
don't know if you know that I'm actually friends with one of the developers at Genie.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't know that.
Well, he actually really helped me a lot in the beginning when I was on Greenlight.
Mm-hmm.
So
I respect you guys.
I think it's awful what happened to them. So
yeah, I respect you guys more because you didn't, as far as I know, and I really looked it up. As far as I know, you didn't shut someone down because they used footage of your videos. And you don't flip assets, as far as I know. I think the Game Guru thing was the first game Kimulator was a Game Guru project, so it's basically free assets. But I wouldn't even describe you close to digital homicide. But whatever. The second thing is, do you have other developers that act in the same area that you know, except for digital homicide?
Well, right now there's like 2 people making games for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dabman 3 coming out by Caffeine Me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a platformer, and there's a T-Man that's making a War of the World game for me. So
Okay, so things are in works. I would start with I would go game by game and ask you a little bit about that. So Kimulator, I think Kimulator is pretty bad. I think you hadn't embraced the meme status or the I would say the satirical status yet, and I think that's a fair statement. What I want to know is what the initial vision for the game is, because you said it was a school project in several parts of the internet, and what do you actually wanted to do with this game, basically?
well, in 2014, me and my friends had to do like a normal project in front of the English class. So I had to write like a big essay about something, and it's kind of stupid because it was supposed to last 3 minutes and lasted 30 minutes. And like we were in the front of the class doing exactly the game Kimulator,
Mm-hmm.
but in live action, like it was a theater piece, if you want. So
Mm-hmm.
we're there with our script, reading it in front of the class, and like people thought it was so stupid that they kind of liked it. So me and my friend Vincent actually recorded it after school.
Mm-hmm.
Then I made a video game around it, and that's how Kimulator was born.
Yeah, I played it for a while. At some point, I enjoyed it. At some point, like don't want to play this anymore. But the next one was Zombitator, and I think as Zombitator, Zombitator, Zombitatos, and I think here Bmc Studio really found their identity. You know, the full motion video thing, and it's a little bit clunky, but I think, and the sound mixing is a little bit off, especially in the IRL sections. But the only thing I want to know is what happened to John. I never saw him in any other projects.
Well, at first it was supposed to be Vincent, the same guy as in Kimulator,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't there. So I called on one other of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Yeah, sure." He joined in, and like since high school kind of stopped, we didn't talk again.
Okay.
So he's my friend on Facebook and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
we still talk. He's still my friend, but I don't see him anymore. So.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, I like John. John was a good actor. And the next game was there's a Genie's main Szechuan sauce. I think now this is
No, the next game was Kimulator 2. But...
Cumulator 2. I didn't play that. It's blocked in Germany. Sorry.
Okay.
So for me, the next game was there's a Genie my Szechuan sauce. And I think this whole thing comes from Ricky Morty reference, you know, but you missed those Ricky Morty references. Where is Pickle Rick or any of those Ricky Morty references? I think there was a missed opportunity there.
It's not actually about Rick and Morty. It's mostly like it's clickbait, if you want.
Okay, no, please explain.
The Szechuan sauce was really popular, so I just wrote a script in like 2 days about the Szechuan sauce just to be in the trending stuff, and it actually worked.
Okay.
So that's like the goal now with my games, that I need to find something relevant and write something really quick about it.
Yeah.
So it was just because Szechuan sauce were popular. I didn't want to make a Rick and Morty reference, just that like Szechuan sauce were popular, so I just made a game featuring the Szechuan sauce. It's not about Rick and Morty.
Yeah, because there's one line which the Genie is screaming and saying "Wee!" and I'm like, yeah, that if you suddenly turned into a pickle, you know, suddenly everything turned, like that would be a good reference. But whatever, okay, that's fine then. Let me say this to the next game I played. I didn't like this one. and I think you can already guess which one. It has a long segment with nothing to choose or do, and I think I even fell asleep a little bit. I got bored. And it's not even about the Emoji Movie, you know. What happened here? Because all the other games, I could say, okay, they're tackling one certain topic, but this one is just, I don't understand what happened here.
Okay. Well, when I wrote the script, I just wrote something that didn't make any sense. Like, and when I was halfway done, I was really bored writing it, so I sent it to Undead Unicorn, so he finished it. So I didn't do all the script because I was too bored writing it, and like he did the other half. Like the part where they talk about Jake Paul, that's the part you wrote?
I talk about the part where you sit down and do nothing, basically, and it's just a bunch of references to memes and like the way and all the shit. And like, oh, please stop.
That part was supposed to like only last for 2 minutes, but we didn't stop talking, so I just kept it.
I was thinking, give me a choice, please.
And it was recorded after my 18th birthday. So
Okay, all right. I also saw that you replied to a bunch of people with the dabbing on the emoji poster, like Jack's Films and all this big YouTuber. I just want to say, this is some high-level marketing. Good job here. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh my god, that's genius. So, first of all, how did you came up with that idea, and why did you do this?
Well, I actually made the t-shirt. I don't know if you saw, but it's actually like 100% of Photoshop that I made. It's unique to me, and on the t-shirt. I also bought all the merch of the Emoji Movie. I have it all up on just next to my TV. There's all the toys that came out for the Emoji Movie and the Emoji Movie in 4K. Why not? And I saw it the first day it came out with my friend, and I dressed like the Genie and there's a Genie in my Francis.
Okay, you seem to be like a lover of like B movies and asylum movies, basically. Let's talk a little bit about that. So I recently saw something you bought, Transmorphers, the Transmorphers series.
Yeah.
But just tell me, why do you like B movies or parody movies or Me Too movies so much?
Honestly, like the Asylum, I feel like I could become like them, but for games one day. And I think it's awesome. Like I have almost all their movies. I have Alien versus Hunters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just love their movies. I have their version of War of the World too, the 1 and 2. I just love their movies.
Okay, so let's move on to the next game, Dabman. I think that was the best game, by the way. Dabman was a little better than all of the other games combined. I had to chuckle a few times, but one thing that I really noticed was the word bitch is thrown a lot. Is bitch like a French-Canadian favorite insult? And do you have you guys thought about making a whole game in French?
Well, Dabman was actually made by me and Caffeine Meme. Like he helped me to write the script, and Dabwoman too. Bitch isn't that popular. Well, we say shit and like fuck a lot. Like even when we speak French, we still say shit and fuck.
So the French Canadians mix it a little bit up.
I mean, we're surrounded by English people, so it's kind of normal that we use English words.
Okay.
So, but no, it's not that popular to say bitch.
Okay. So, and have you guys thought about making a whole game in French?
Well, in Kimulator 2, I know you didn't play it, but there's some part in French. There's one actor that only speaks French, and it's subtitled. But a game only in French would not work because people wouldn't care about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I'm doing my YouTube channel in English and not in German, because German sounds a little bit weird too. So, yeah. So next up was Dabwoman.
It's just like French, German if you want. So
yeah, please. No. So next up is Dabwoman, and I think making the second game a woman as a protagonist, you are already better than Marvel and DC combined. You're very progressive here. My question here is, what do you actually think about superhero movies? And do you know a movie called The Defender?
Is it the movie with the guy from The Office?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it recently.
It is amazing. Defender! So, but, yeah, what do you think about it, superhero movies?
I'm not a big fan of Spider movies. Like, I like the first 3 Spider-Man movies, then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies were kind of good, but I don't like the all adventure things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, if I watch the new Spider-Man movie, I don't want Iron Man to be there. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want
I think a
it
lot
needs to
of
be
people
simple.
feel like that.
Like, Homecoming was good, but then there was Iron Man. Was like, no, I just want. I don't care about Iron Man.
just give me Spider-Man. Yeah. And the next game was Sexy Comedy, and I think it tried something new here. I think it didn't click for me. I thought it was a little bit bland, and it brought out Jacuz out, and I think that was miles better. Was miles away. One question that I couldn't get out of my mind was, why do those guys just make a YouTube channel? You know, have you thought about making content specific to YouTube instead of video games?
Okay, see it that way. Like, first, it's hard to actually make money on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if I make interactive videos, it's like at least $1 per view.
Mm-hmm.
If you want. So even if I don't have a bigger fan base, like the people that like me actually support me by watching my stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interactive and like it's unique in that way. So if I was on YouTube, I wouldn't be like unique. So
yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people doing like comedy sketch on YouTube, but there's almost no one making comedy games on Steam. So
yeah, that's pretty much true. Yeah. And finally, the last game I played, we will talk about the new game that you brought out, but the last game I played was Real Life Battle Royale. And I think you dropped the ball a little, you know? There was a lot of dead air in there. I'm not sure if that was intended. Maybe it was to show that some streamers are just not entertaining, or you guys just include the music because there are some sound effects, and there was no music basically for me. Maybe it's a bug, but there was basically no music throughout most of the video. I know there was sound effects, but no music. So what was the basic idea for Real Life Battle Royale first? And
the idea wasn't that good. I wrote it like a long time ago when the first PUBG came out. I wrote it and like I adapted it for Fortnite because my friends are awful at being there when I need them. So like it's, oh, I'm going to make a game. Do you want to come? No. Ah, okay.
yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to make games that don't involve my friends. I'm still going to make them, but like less often because the last time I got them to make a game was a Real Life Battle Royale.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard to get my friends to do things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sure.
And when I wrote the script for Real Life Battle Royale, it was really stupid because I was like, okay, I need to write something that's really dumb, but because my friends won't be in a game that they don't like the script.
Yeah.
So I have the script written for Dab Baby, the sequel to Dabwoman.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to be in it.
Yeah, sure.
So I like took 2 days to write a whole script for a game that they don't want to be in it. So that's kind of annoying.
I mean, I think when I see the games, there's obviously people are having fun with it. I mean, you can see that on their face; they're laughing all the time and having fun with it. So yeah, I'm sure if they don't like the script, they're not gonna be in the game. And
like I have also the script for Kimulator 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, if you have those franchises, you're basically making the same thing as that Marvel is doing, but for meme games or satirical games or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, please.
No, I just said yeah. So
most of your games are missing basic features, you know, like a menu in which you have like options menu. I don't want to go too hard on you, but when you play your games, if you could like go back and re-edit those games, what would you change or add that could improve quality of life?
Well, there's some stuff that sometimes I just forget when I make them, and it's kind of too late because most people that wanted to play it already played it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, okay.
But I know lots of people like are angry that there's no exit menu, but you just press the Windows key and you close the window. It's not that hard.
No. I have a big problem with that. I actually in the review you will see when you watch it. I have a whole part. It's not long, but I have a whole part ranting about that.
What is hard in pressing the Windows key and clicking X?
It's not the point. That's not the point. Okay, that's not the point. The point is that there's a basic, like when you have a car, right? You have a car. The car has to have 4 wheels, a motor, and and like the hull and wheel, steering wheel. That's it. If you're missing the steering wheel, what's so wrong in using the knob? You know, you definitely can use the knob, but that's not what's intended. Okay, but whatever. I want to rant
When I
here.
play games online, I just press the Windows key to exit. I never click the exit key. I just always press Windows and I close it.
Yeah, but that's not the point. But I understand. Like, it actually doesn't matter, and that's why I didn't go so hard on it. But you see, you get my point, right? That
Yeah, I
there's
know
something
why
missing.
you do that, but I don't want to do an exit key just because people are so like angry about it.
Out of
I'm going
principle.
to
Okay.
I'm going to make one, but when you press the X key, it's going to just say press the Windows key and click the game.
That would be actually genius, you know, like something like that. That would fit the MO you guys are doing, like the satirical thing. That would actually say, okay, that makes sense. But what I want to say is, lately, the quality has improved clearly. Do you think that if you improve your games, that themselves, if you improve the quality of your games themselves, that they will lose their flair and their characteristic?
Well, I know you didn't like the first Kimulator, but a lot of people say that it's their favorite.
I didn't
So
like
it's also
I didn't like the FPS part. I would like just a choose your adventure thing.
I know, but like lots of people think that since like it was our first game and we didn't like became meme, it was our best game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say because I know like Kimulator 2 improved a lot, but some people don't like it as much because it improved. Same thing for my other games, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I'm going to improve, but keep like the stupid things.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the satirical thing, but I think even with the quality improvement, you can still have the thing, like you said, like the thing you said before with the exit button. You can add an exit button, but then make the exit button that says, "Please press the press the Windows key and X out of it." You know what I mean?
I'm going to make that in my next game because I hate the fact that there would be an exit button.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I see it in every game, but I never use it, and I think it's stupid that someone would actually press escape, then go in the menu, then go exit the game, when you can just press the Windows key to exit the game and just close it. So
yeah, I mean, you can press Alt F, Windows F4, sure, but most of the times it's just there's a quit button and then quit back to menu. Some people want to go back to menu if you have like if you can choose, for example, levels. In your games, you don't have levels, for example.
yeah,
but whatever.
So, like, I don't think it's useful in my game to have like go back to the menu. And
sure,
stuff, so.
But I think they're still missing. You will see the reasoning why when you watch the video. But let's just drop that for now. From your perspective, which is your best game?
Maybe Kimulator 2, I think.
Kimulator
and there's
2?
a Genie message one says, like the two of them.
There's a what? There's a Genie.
There's a Genie message one says and Kimulator 2. Like I think they're pretty much on the same level.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Dabman was the best. I like Vincent. I like Vincent a lot. Okay.
You might not see him as much in the games because like he doesn't want to do them anymore. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I understand. It's you know, if people are like making fun of you, maybe like yeah.
Well,
sure.
I mean, like Vincent is a face of BMC in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Because he wants to, and like people actually recognize him on the street and stuff, and he hates that like so much.
Yeah,
he's so ashamed of the game, and like when someone say, "Oh, you're the guy from Kimulator," it's like, no.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit about Vincent. So how is he doing? When was the last time he worked for you guys? Because I realized that in Dabwoman he didn't like it. He didn't seem to have fun there.
Well, he doesn't like making the games as much as before. And like the last time was in real life battle royale.
Okay, I didn't even see him in real life battle royale.
He's in the one scene.
Okay, yeah.
Well, not one scene because sometimes he has a mask or something. So, he plays multiple players if you want.
Let's talk a little bit about your community. Your community has grown. I heard. I've been spending a while in your Discord. I've been stalking around, asking people around. You guys seem to have a very wholesome community. So, let's talk a
Yeah,
little
people
about
like
that.
Undead really come and CC the Cup are actually like the cups in the server, so they keep things like clean and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you have
Like
do you have trolls too, like people that don't understand what you guys are doing?
sometimes there's people joining and just spamming nudes and stuff, but most of the time it's awesome people. So,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
there's people that actually hate me, but I don't see the reason why. Like if you hate my games, just don't play them.
Yeah, they're not. Then I have the exact thing said in the video, so yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
Lastly,
hate like people say I take space on the Steam store, but I don't. I mean, just
that's
block me if you hate my games that much.
yeah,
Like,
you can actually ignore games. So yeah. Lastly, I always like to talk about one specific topic, and that's advice. You are clearly an indie dev. You know, you establish yourself as a basically a indie dev programmer, an indie dev studio. What advice would you give for people that are starting right now?
it's not that much of a good time because like I was actually able to be like to be a name that you recognize because of Jim Sterling, so thanks to him. But like if I came out now, there's so much games that it's really hard to be noticed. Most of the people that buy my games already bought my other one. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's my fans that keep buying my games. But if you're new, if you look at like the new releases and stuff, most people don't even buy those games because there's too much people. If you want.
Yeah.
So
Lastly,
like I'm just
yes,
really
please.
happy to have amazing fans like that. And I try to be like really active in the Discord and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's just hard right now. There's not like if your game isn't amazing, you won't be noticed. And my games are not amazing, but I'm just lucky.
Yeah. I heard a little story from Undead Unicorn, but I want to confirm it here. Why is a BMC not in all caps?
Okay, like BMC Studio actually isn't English for the BMC; it's in French.
Yeah.
It's branche-moi ça, and
Which
in French,
means,
it's
which
only
means,
plug me,
yeah.
like plug that in. It doesn't really translate well.
Okay.
That's why it's BMC.
Okay.
So like it in French, in the movie title, for example, it's only the first letter that's capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
If you want,
Okay.
like Spider-Man in French would be l'homme araignée, and it's only the first letter that's in the badge in
Okay.
caps. So
I heard the different
and,
story. I heard that you
and it's
didn't.
also because I think BMC like that looks better than like that.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that you find it aggressive if it's that the big BMC all capital, you find it aggressive.
Well, I don't think it looks good. I prefer the the other way. So
Okay, good. I think we're done so far. Thank you for listening to me and answering my stupid questions. I hope we had fun. Now it's a
yeah,
time. Now
perfect.
you can plug everything, say everything, except for illegal stuff. I don't want that on my channel. But please, the floor is yours.
Okay, but illegal stuff. Do I? I'm not part of the mafia. So.
No, you can't say that. I won't cut it. I leave it in. No.
Okay, so I guess I have a Patreon now because my goal is to make my games free
Mm-hmm.
Monday. So if I can like sustain myself with a Patreon, my games are going to become free to play. If you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I will plug everything. Thank you again for coming to this interview, and yeah, this was a hard one. I didn't just want to bash BMC. There's a lot to criticize, but my first interview was with the creator of Vacant, which is a broken game. I can see the potential in BMC Studio, but there's a lot of work to do to get to an acceptable standard, and there's a lot of catch up to do to, get to a standard which you would say, I can play this game, I can enjoy it 100%, I stand behind it, and I would recommend it to someone. I think you can be memey and satirical, but there are certain standards I expect when you want money for your product. One example would be my beloved options, which is the first thing I look for in video games. This shows to me, okay, there's a level of quality there. Yeah, and to Alain, I mean, he's a great guy, probably. I heard only good things from him. He seems to be interested in this medium we call video games. And even if he wants to do cheesy storylines, I mean, it's fine. Like, I just wish that the quality would improve more and more. There seems to be a community around him that is not toxic. It's basically just a few people that like these meme video games. They found a home basically on the internet, and that's difficult to find. I wish for everyone that watches this to not attack them. It's their part of the internet. It's their corner of the internet. Let them have it. You know, it's a good thing. Just let them have it, the corner of their internet. It's not destroying your beautiful platform. It's not doing anything to anyone. So with that out of the way, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks to everyone that participated in the video. Take care of yourselves and have a nice day.